This is You're in the Right Place podcast with your host, me, Ebony Kira. This is You're in the Right Place with your host, Ebony Kira, and I got one of two of the founders of Music Breakr out with me, Ameer Brown.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now I'm not gonna get too much into telling about the people about your own company, but let me just get into what I got here.
Okay.
So, with 55 million creators on Breakr, you guys made a trailblazing marketing platform that is basically taking over the industry right now from what I know and what I've done on my research, okay? So you guys have been able to bring on labels, artists, content creators all in one place successfully. 70,000 users to date, and you guys are basically becoming a powerhouse.
Yeah. Well, I like to say it's a database of 55 million. So we were able to scrape the internet and build a database of 55 million people who consider themselves social media users, right? If you have over 1,000 followers, we've probably scraped whatever public information we can. Again, this is not against anybody's will. These are things that are just put out on the internet. So, follower count, engagement rate, and things like that. And if you do happen to have your contact information on any of your surfaces, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, in your bio, link tree, whatever it may be, then we're able to categorize that into a database. So you're able to reach out to that many people through the platform. And as you said, around 75,000 or so have actually onboarded, whether in the form of an artist or a true traditional content creator, claim their account and are in the marketplace working with a lot of our clients. We started off calling ourselves Music Breakr, and honestly, we've transitioned, not to say well past it. We still stay within the entertainment space, but we've started to work with agencies that represent content creators. Live Nations was one of our most recent investments and partners. So touring companies, and it's just regular brands, right? Like CPG brands and very big enterprises. We've done campaigns with Hershey's, Billboard, and different companies like that. So we stay within that realm. But music is where we got our start, and obviously the big three, Sony, Warner, UMG. We've worked across many labels across that building, all three of those buildings, and yeah, we're just really blessed to be able to have that type of caliber of client. In the last 5 years, we launched in 2020, during the pandemic. The idea kind of came to me in 2017, to be honest, but I kind of had not to say paralysis of getting started, but just thinking about it. What if, and then obviously the pandemic gave us a lot of time to be able to just really just launch and see what could happen. Yeah, we're blessed to be here.
I know that's right. Blessed and black. Let me just throw that out there because I don't think you're getting a lot of. I mean, I said that because I don't want to generalize it, but a lot of black people that are starting big powerhouses like these.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of support too. I mean, I can get into the whole how we raise money and what that journey's been like. To date, we've raised around $9 million total from 2020 on. Some major funds, a lot of family offices, some angel investors, people who just highly believe in us, a couple billionaires on the cap table.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, no, it's very hard to do, and we are in the very few of African American founders who have been able to do so. But that's really just the beginning point, right? That's just to get your feet off the ground, your start up, right? The goal is to actually scale and to become cash flow positive at some point, and really create a business that can stand on its own too. And yeah, we've been blessed to even have advisors join the cap table, even if they're not giving cash, that just have done this before. Our industry titans have a lot of resources and black books that they can open up for us. And we've been very blessed to have a lot of people like that around us as well.
I know that's right. So let's get into the beginning before everything popped off. I like to know about where you're from.
Okay.
Humble beginnings. How did you and your brother grow up? How was their relationship? Get into it.
Yeah, well, we're from Queens, New York. We were born in Queens, New York. My entire family is from Queens, and we come from a family of entrepreneurs and publics as civil servants. So my grandparents, one of them was my grandmother was a social worker. My other grandfather was a New York City police officer. My dad was a probation officer, and my mom was an entrepreneur, always college dropout, and she wound up building a business called Now Dr. Plus in Queens when she was, I think, 19 years old. Asked my granddad for a loan to start it. He put his house up to get the collateral for this business loan. They came together and they made a RH. Oh, I think it's like, I forget the name of it, but it was a holdings group that they put together. And he basically said, "Look, I'm gonna buy this building for you, and you're gonna be able to run your business out of it." So she launched a nail salon, beauty salon, hair salon, beauty supply store right out of this building, and then used the proceeds from that business to pay the building off. And she bought that building. So they did that in the 70s, and that was really the foundation of like our entrepreneurial journeys. Yeah, and like obviously my dad, he provided a lot of stability with his job, good union job in the city, probation officer, juvenile probation officer. So yeah, like that's really like our foundation and where we came from. Tony and I, we're about a year and a half apart. So they like to call us Irish twins. You know what I mean? Like some days you don't know who's older, even though that's my big brother. But yeah, we've been very close since we were young. You know, anywhere he was at, I was at. Anywhere I was at, he was at. We played basketball. We traveled the country playing with different traveling teams out of New York, Riverside Church, Gauchos, etc. So we've been doing this thing for a long time together, me and him. Our first business actually was shoveling snow. So in New York, when you grow up, well, at least our mom, in her entrepreneurial hustler spirit, she was like, "What y'all doing in here?" We're like, "What you mean? It's a snow day." She's like, "Y'all better get outside." Like, she would literally make us get dressed and kick us out and be like, "You can't come back in until you go shovel like half the block." So we would just get outside, walk door to door, knock on people's doors, shovel the snow, make $5 each, come home with like $40, go spend it all on candy. But yeah, we've been working together for a long time, and you know, he got my back, I got his back. So it's a blessing to be able to do something like what we're doing with Breakr with somebody that I've literally known all 35 years of my life, 37 for him. Yeah, it's very unique to be able to do that, you know.
So growing up, maybe versus somebody that didn't probably come from a two-parent household or have them entrepreneurial parents in the household, did you feel like that gave you guys kind of like a leg up as you got older?
Absolutely, like 100%. Like they would first of all, they would never let us not remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a privilege not just to have two parents in the house, but two parents that love you, would do anything for you. And you know, like I said, my grandfather, he took a risk on my mother, giving her start. So she takes pride in being able to do different things for us and like open doors for us. Even right now, she's on the cap table. She put about $200K of her own money into the business. You know, and like that's also rare, right? You have an angel investor that's also your mother, so she believed in us, and it's definitely a privilege. Like, you definitely can't take it for granted. You know, she also told us growing up, like, "Hey, if you guys don't get basketball scholarships, y'all better get a educational scholarship, because I ain't paying for college." I was literally one of the first things I remember hearing is, "I ain't paying for college." I'm like, "What's college?" She's like, "I ain't paying for it. Just know that." You know what I mean? So she always like stressed education. Like, I mean, you can't even play the basketball game if you got a bad grade on a test. Like, like literally, it was like, "What you get on your test?" "Oh, I did all right." "What you get on it?" C." Can't play.
Right.
Can't play because of a C or like a bad grade. It's not about that. It's more about you need to focus on what you need to do. Get your grades right, then you can do what you want to do. So she stressed school on us, like, you know, it really hit home. My sister, we have an older sister. Her name is Dr. Cherry Charles.
Oh, doctor.
Got her PhD.
That period.
She went to college at 16 years old. FAMU. Me, my brother, and my sister all went to FAMU. Graduated from FAMU. They were business students. I did the School of Journalism. I got my degree in PR. Even though I'm a software engineer now, we'll get into that. But yeah, so my sister went to FAMU at 16. Got her master's at 21. You know, went and got her PhD by 24.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, they stress education like heavily in our household. So between that and seeing the entrepreneurial spirit, the hustler spirit, like the startup spirit, we almost was like bred to do this. To be quite frank,
you can keep it 100% right up on this spot, okay? So we're gonna segue right into that. Actually, I do know you guys went to FAMU. Actually, my little sister is a rattler as well. I lived my HBCU life through her.
Come on, Rattler.
I lived that whole experience through her. It was very interesting to see. Tell me about the experience of attending probably one of the best historically black colleges and universities.
I wouldn't say one of. What the camera? I wouldn't say one of. I would say the best. You feel
Yeah,
me?
FAMU like
Nah, my
like to
Howard friends,
break.
you know, we're playing Howard in the Orange Blossom Classic next weekend, so I got to talk a little bit of junk.
Okay.
Now, FAMU and all HBCUs, I think, are just great experiences. I actually didn't go to FAMU my first year, so my sister did. She graduated. My brother went right after her. He pledged Alpha. I pledged Alpha once I got there. And my sister's an AKA, by the way. So we got into the Divine
Shout out to the Divine Nine.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I actually didn't go to FAMU my first year. I went to Wesleyan University in Connecticut, which is considered one of the best liberal arts schools in the country. Hard to get into. Me and one of my best friends from childhood, Shasha, he's from New York as well. We went there together, played basketball for my first year. And while I was there, I just had like this thought. I was just like, 4 more years, because I also went to a prep school called Blair Academy in New Jersey, one of the best prep schools in New England, in the country, quite frankly, one of the oldest as well. And the education I got there was just like second to none. And then once I got to Wesleyan, I also was receiving this really great education, but I felt like something was missing in my spirit, like something in my soul was just like not developing the way I knew I needed to. And I'm watching my sister go to FAMU. She's making all these friends and getting all these internships and getting all these accolades and like really blossoming. My brother, the same thing. Like he went down there. He got his first internship at Procter and Gamble. Then he wound up getting internships at JP Morgan, and his first job was at JP Morgan, flourishing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But I couldn't help to notice that like they're doing this with literally all people of color. The teachers were people of color. The professors were people of color. The administration, his friends, the peers, and every single one of his peers, all were doing something dope for the summer. It's like it was almost like you don't have an internship. Like what you doing? You know what I mean? Like there's this peer pressure, but not in like the bad way. You know what I mean? Like there's this peer like expectancy for excellence that comes out of FAMU and a lot of HBCUs.
Yes.
And you're supported and you're like told to do it, and like it's something that like literally the administration and the professors like push onto you like you need to do this. So I just wanted to have that, and I transferred and went to FAM, and the rest was history. By the time I got there, I met two of my best friends, Timmy and Daniel, that I was telling you about. They're also co-founders of the company with us. I met them like maybe like the first week I was there. And they took me under their wing, honestly, because they had done their freshman years already there. So they were like, "Look, man, show you the ropes, show you around Chicago." You know what I mean? This how you do it, bro. And I just met a lot of other people, my line brothers, etc. And it just kind of took off. So Breakr really, even the Breakr page today, like the actual Instagram page, we just crossed 100,000 followers. That page was actually our college party promotion page. We converted it when we like launched Breakr.
Okay.
So in college, we started this group called Lavish Entertainment Group, which then turned into Day Snatchers with my other partners.
Actually familiar with Day Snatchers.
Yeah, so my other partner, Aaron Waters, James Highsmith, Prince, they had another group called Soiree when we were in college. And we had a group called Lavish Entertainment Group. And we were basically like competing promotion groups.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They had a Thursday night, we had a Friday night. And really like, when we were in school, we started to use Eventbrite. So I'm about to date myself a little bit. Eventbrite just came out when we was in school. So you could just put digital tickets up and sell tickets. Other than that, you were outside selling tickets hand to hand.
Right.
So we got Eventbrite. MailChimp had been around, but it wasn't something that people like knew about, was using. But then I don't know what marketing push they did when we was in school, but we found it. And we were able to take our emails from Eventbrite and selling tickets and put them into MailChimp and start email campaigns. Twitter came out when we were in college. Literally, this is like 2011.
Yep.
And we were able to like basically turn the street team into a digital street team, which is influencer marketing if you really think about it.
Yes.
I literally threw a meeting in a building called BL Perry where I went and got like AKAs and Deltas and modeling troops and athletes and student government people and just some cool kids on campus. I was like, look, meet me in BL Perry. We're going to throw a party. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it done. And then we sat there and like literally like threw the first party called Potbelly Fridays and launched it on Eventbrite and sold tickets and really just started to build this database and really start to build our usership. Instagram then came out, started to build that up. And that Instagram page is literally the Breakr page today. It just converted over time. We just changed it and
It's meant
kept
to
it
be.
going. Yeah.
That's kind of what it sounded like to me. It was meant
Yeah,
to be.
yeah, for
So
sure.
it seems to me HBCUs tend to shape people of color, into basically who they are today. I have a lot of friends that did go to HBCUs. I envy you all, by the way.
Well, you always come to homecoming. It's all good.
And I did
Got a
that.
plate for
I
you.
went about 2 years ago to what is it, the Spell House.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for Tito's at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh my God, this is what I missed out on." It hurt
Yeah.
my feelings, to be
Yeah.
totally honest.
Shout out to my brother Lyric. He has a bunch of businesses out in Atlanta, and I went to the Spell House homecoming. They were throwing some events, and I got to experience that too. I was like, man, it don't matter which one you go to, it's all lit.
It's all
I went up to
everybody
Howard,
lit.
and it was lit. So we talk a lot of junk around. Oh, which one's the best? But honestly, they're all amazing places. You know.
How did that shape you and your brother? Like, once you guys graduated, how did that shape you all to who you are now?
Man, I mean, honestly, like you spend this like 4 years in this like black oasis of just like excellence and it's almost like an echo chamber a little bit, and then you got to go out into the real world, and you start to realize that like you're over equipped, and when it comes to your confidence, your skills, and like really what you believe you can do. So you get into the workforce and you just become like almost like maniacally like focused on success. You know what I mean? Like it's almost just like that same level of expectation. Like, what you doing this summer? I don't know yet. You don't know yet. It's almost like goes into the building where it's like, you got a promotion yet? It's like, I'm gonna get this promotion or I'm gonna work on this thing. So, for me, it definitely shaped my like drive once I got into corporate America. I started off my career in New York. Remember I told you I got my degree in public relations.
Yes.
So I started off my career at a company called Assembly Media uh, in New York, and they are a programmatic ad buying and media company, full-fledged media company. So, out of home billboard placements, digital campaigns, you name it, right? All types of advertising campaigns. And when I was there, they had this guy. He called himself an entrepreneur in residence. So I had no idea what that was, but I'm on the business development team, making entry level, making pitch decks and getting people coffee. But it was still like I was learning a lot, sitting directly underneath the executives, so that from the CEO down all the VPs of their different categories and et cetera. So I'm learning, and I'm also editing and building decks. So I'm literally seeing the materials that they're putting together and how they're pitching their services, et cetera. So I learned a ton about digital marketing and advertising while working there. But I met this guy who would come dressed like this, t-shirts and jeans, and everyone else comes basically business casual, right? So one day I'm asking him, like, what do you do? Who are you? Like, he's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur in residence. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, basically, I'm a contractor, right? And I'm building out something for this business.
Okay.
And he was building out their programmatic ad exchange. Like, one of the first companies that did this, their model was art plus science. So, that was like, if you think about it, like software engineering and science and STEM, et cetera. And he basically was just like, yeah, like, I'm building out a software that's going to allow for all these people to scale exponentially in what they're already doing. And I'm building like a proprietary software for this company. And I was just like, software, advertising, what does that have to do? How do those two go together, right?
Right.
But again, fresh out of college. And he was like, let me show you. So he like shows me like what he's building. I'm looking at it. It's hieroglyphics. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is literally the hieroglyphics like in Egypt somewhere.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what it looks like to me, at least. But I just got this. I call it the tech bug. I just kept asking him questions like, what else? Like, how else do you do that? I was hooked after that. I was just like, bro, I want to get on the other side of this business
Right.
and like build software. And we got into the Andreessen Horowitz TXO accelerator, and one of their models over there is software is eating the world, right? And that was one of a real world example of just like software being able to turn people into super people, right?
Okay.
One person can now do the job of 10 people. And now we're starting to see with the proliferation of AI that one person can do the job of
Exactly.
1,000 people, really,
Yes.
right? Infinite amounts of people. So I was like, you know what? Also, for some better job security, I need to learn how to build these things. So I went to General Assembly in New York, went back to school. So there's, never be afraid to go back to learning and do something else to better upskill yourself. Went to General Assembly. Shout out to General Assembly, and they changed my life. I got the digital marketing certificate from them, and then I went into I actually applied to their full-time software development program, where you have to leave your job, you have to immerse into it, and they have this thing called the Opportunity Fund. Super crazy full circle story. Long story shorthand is I learned how to code.
Okay.
I wound up getting a job at Adobe. Worked there for 5 years as an engineer across a product called Adobe Spark, which is now Adobe Express, which is really like the Canva competitor
Okay.
at Adobe. Um, and but how I got into that program, it got funded by the General Assembly Opportunity Fund, and Nas. I had to write an essay to get in, right? I'm like, I'm putting my thinking cap on. How can I stand out? How are they gonna read my essay? I need this. It was like a 15K course.
Okay.
They give you $6,000 and like a stipend. They give you a laptop, all that if you get in.
Okay.
So I'm on the website applying, and I noticed that Queensbridge Ventures was a funder backer of this program. That's Nas's investment leg.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's cool. I'm from Queens. Like, let me take that angle. So I wrote an essay called Silicon State of Mind, which was a nod to Nas's New York State of Mind. And it was like subtitled Techmatic, like his Illmatic. And I read a double XL article where they asked Nas, what does Illmatic mean? He was like, oh, it's like supreme ill. It's iller than ill. It's the illest it could be, right? So I basically wrote this essay, started off by saying, I want to be techmatic. I want to be supreme tech. I want to be as tech as tech can be. There's no limits to how tech I could go, right? And
Right.
quoted that. I guess that was a good hook because they got to read it. And then the rest of the questions were like, well, how would this change your life? And what are you going to do with it? And, what would you do if you were to become successful, et cetera? And I literally just like wrote my future. I was like, I'm going to get into this program. I'm going to learn how to code. I'm going to go take these skills and I'm going to go apply them at a big tech company. I'm going to learn everything I can learn from that big tech company. I'm going to then come up with my own idea and bring those tools back to my culture and back to my community and build my own company. And I'm going to scale it and I'm going to sell it. And then once I'm done, I'm going to fund more people to do it. Like, obviously, I didn't get to the end of my journey yet,
Right.
but that was the goal. I wrote this in an essay. And this lady, God bless her, Liz Lowe, she calls me from Adobe. She's like, I cried when I read your essay. And she was like, first of all, you're in, and let's get it cracking. And I was like, let's go.
Right.
So then I wound up going through this program, 3 months learning how to code. Then it was a 3 month apprenticeship at a company that was one of the backers. They had other backers. I think Google backs General Assembly, Adobe was one of the backers, etc. So I didn't even wind up getting the funding from Nas and the Queensbridge Ventures. I just wrote the essay because that's who I knew was backing the entire program. Adobe wound up being the people that read my essay and was like, we want to invite you to the flagship program called the Adobe Digital Academy. And it was the first cohort ever. Now it's like on year 10 or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I was in the first cohort of the Adobe Digital Academy, 3 month internship at Adobe, give you a laptop, pay you like I think it was the rate of like 75K a year or something like that.
Okay.
The rate of, because it was still a 3 month program,
Right.
and with the opportunity to interview for a job when you're done. And I got the job. I interviewed, didn't get a job immediately,
Right.
but he was a director of Adobe Spark, and now I think he's like a director of product at Adobe. His name's Aubrey Cattell. Changed my life because this internship was ending, and he came to me and was just like, "Hey, we don't have a full-time role, but I know the program's not gonna be able to fund the next your next portion of this.
Right.
I'm gonna personally, off of my balance sheet on my team, give you another 3 months to work on the team. So you could just stay in place, keep working on what you're working on, and I see something in you, and like, let's go." I was like, man. So he then extends it to another 3 months. So I did 6 months of an apprenticeship. Then eventually I wound up getting a job as a software quality engineer, doing black box testing, white box testing. And during my apprenticeship, I built a dashboard that basically helped them identify who are their top publishers in this app at the time, which winds up becoming the foundation of something they called Spark Insiders, which is now like in a 1 million-person like Facebook group. But like I found like the first 100 people that were power users of the app. This was in like 2016.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's how I learned how to do what we do. And quite frankly, like in around 2020, that's when we launched the company. Um, they told us like, hey, like you don't have to come back into the office until July of 2021. And as soon as I heard that news, I was like, Breakr was already in the back of my head. I was like, this is the moment. It's time. Like I've been here for 5 years. I know what I need to know. I have some time. Like we're gonna be at home. So me and Tony both left the Bay. He was in the Bay too. So Tony was working at J.P. Morgan in Miami. Then he went to New York, and then he got a new job at Goldman Sachs out in San Francisco. So we wound up being in San Francisco at the same time. Because I didn't tell you this. I left. General Assembly was in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I had to move to San Francisco from New York to do this program.
Okay.
It was my first time touching California. Like I'd never been there before.
Okay.
And like, my boy Logan, he picked me up. He went to FAMU, but he was out there. So shout out to the FAMU network, right?
Right.
His grandmother lived out there. So he let him and his grandmother let me stay with them for like 2 weeks or a month or something until I like was able to get my own apartment. So like the FAMU network was like very strong and like allowed me to even get my footing out in San Francisco.
That's what I mean by the HBCU connection.
Literally.
That's exactly
Shout
what
out,
I mean.
shout out to Logan's grandma.
Right, shout out to Logan's grandma.
But yeah.
All right. We've already kind of gave the breakdown of Breakr. So I just want to acknowledge that you all have been featured in Forbes, Black Enterprise, Billboard, just to name a few. Now, how surreal, I guess to say, has it been to be recognized in such a growing industry?
Man, it's like the creator economy, right? That's what we call it, right? It's been around, but like it's just started to get formalized, I'd say around 2020. Think about this. We launched the company before TikTok was called TikTok.
Right.
It was ByteDance, and there were no like APIs you can connect into. It was a whole nother company. It was a Chinese company called ByteDance, and if you knew, you knew, right? We're a very growing user base. It becomes TikTok around like 2021, something like that. And now it's like the biggest consumer platform on planet Earth, right?
Right.
Something like that. So the entire industry is new. You know what I mean? Like the biggest players, even Meta and like et cetera, like Reels came out in 2022 or something like that, right? And now it's the most dominant content type on the platform. You know what I mean? Long form content from YouTube has been chopped into shorts, so we've seen this whole industry change from the Titans down.
Right.
So, but there was always this underlying like ecosystem of people, content creators, talent managers, talent agencies, brands, platforms. I'm not gonna name them because coming for you. I was yeah, we ain't covered. But now there's always been platforms that have been around since the early YouTube days, etc. And there's all these other tools that just kind of tie into it, right? Like we talked about MailChimp and Customer.io and Segment and all these different things that just kind of feed these tools. And it's like you sit back and you just kind of like have this like fresh eye vantage point of it because we came in under a niche, music.
Right.
So we were only focused on connecting independent artists at first with independent content creators.
Right.
Hey, you have a song? You want her to promote it? Here you go, right? We built this platform for you guys to connect with each other. We even got our first patent. We filed it in 2020 and we got it approved in 2023, which is our escrow ledger. I ain't gonna get into too much detail because they be trying to steal it now. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a few people that's gonna get some cease and desist. I'm not gonna lie to you. But in general, we got our first patent around our ledger that basically protects both sides. Like you can't take the money out of the escrow until you provide the proof, and you have to put the money into the escrow in order to even be able to reach out to a person. So you can't even get contacted on Breakr without proof of funds already verified by us. So you can't get spammed on our platform, and you can't get an offer lower than what our actual pricing algorithm sets or what you set. So you're in control of your business as a content creator on our platform.
Which we don't see very often as far as Black creators that are able to do so.
Well, of course. And like that was one of the main we have two investment funds, Upstart Collab. They invested in us with that thesis in mind. And there's a couple other like impact funds that like invested in us with that in mind, basically saying we're leveling the playing field around pricing and price discrimination across PLC creators, white creators, Asian creators, etc. You see these disparities, but the numbers are the same. And the audience and the impact of the audience, one can argue, is even greater sometimes in the African American community, in the PLC community, in terms of what the trends and what the content drives in terms of sales and awareness, etc.
Because of course we set the tone for everything.
You get what I'm saying? So, we wanted to at least make it fair for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Asian, purple, whatever that you get on our platform. If you have the engagement metrics, you have the audience, you have the followership, and you follow through on your content, you should get paid equitably across the board.
Absolutely.
And brands don't have to come into our platform thinking about it. It's just like, this is what we suggest you pay Ebony for a post. Right. This is why. This is what we look at. This is how much our account has grown. Here's the people that follow her. Here's her network. This is the floor of what you can send her. If you try to go below that floor, literally something pops up in the app that says this is too low. She's not gonna accept this. She's not gonna like engage with you, right?
Okay.
And we also want them to have success. Like I don't want you to send out a bunch of offers, nobody responds to you. Now you're looking at us like, yo, this app doesn't work, right?
Right.
So we want you to send an offer that's gonna at least get your attention, and we've built mechanisms in there that allow you to counter offer their offers, and they can counter offer your offer. You can go back and forth counter offering all day until you agree on a price, the time, the content, the draft, all of those things you could do in the platform. So it's truly an end-to-end solution. And we very recently in February launched a product called Breakr Pay, where we're also able to float the funds instantly on behalf of the buyer.
So none of that net 60, net 75, and
It's
90.
done. Without giving away too much of the sauce, just know that even a major corporation, and I can't say none of their names, right? But like a major corporate, well, even Live Nation, because I can. That's public announcement. A big building like Live Nation has to move a lot of money to content creators, and it's very hard to do all of the financial work, all of the paperwork, the tax forms, and then also moving it from departments that it needs to come from and get it into the right mechanisms to get it to the creator. I want to get paid on PayPal or into my bank account or on my debit card. Like I'm all this invoicing and all that type of stuff, and like I'm just trying to get paid. It's most likely $100 to $500 or even to $1,000, right? Like we're not talking about large sums of money to each individual, but when you talk about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people getting paid from one building in a given year, now it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of overhead and a lot of like back office stuff to do. We automate all of that. And we on the last piece of automating all of it was actually floating the money on behalf of the brand.
Right.
We know they're good for it. Look, pay us back in 30, 60, 90 days. Let the creator get paid right now. You agree to those terms. We have terms that they agree to, and we get it done. And that has literally like 10x our business since January of this year or February of this year. And we're just continuing to scale and add more pieces to it. But yeah, when you add that on top of our escrow and our ledger, and just like the search and discovery tools, the campaign management tools, the reporting tools, it's a very like, I'm proud to say, like a very like flush end-to-end creative marketing system. And it all started from trying to connect independent artist to an independent creator, and we just learned over time as the industry evolved, this creator economy, like that was the question, right? We have this like very unique vantage point of how to make it frictionless. Our job is to make everybody happy. Buyers happy, the creator's happy, the brand is happy, the agent is happy, the platform is happy. And that's very hard to do when you think about that, right? Like when you're dealing with money and you're dealing with deliverables and you're dealing with content, it's like hard to make everyone happy. But I can truly say that we built an ecosystem that can work for everybody, and it's customizable across the different deals that you work with the different clients or the different creators. There's no one solution. That's why we don't have, if you go to our site, there's no pricing page because there's no set price, right? It's all transactional revenue that we generate. And our goal is to make as many transactions happen on the platform as possible.
Come on, get paid. That's all in my head. That's all I heard was just get paid. We getting everybody paid, and we gonna make sure y'all get paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all we ask for our fair share of the, just give us a little crumbs as the money goes through, right? As our fair share.
Make sure y'all get y'all piece of the pie too. Absolutely. Let's get into Ameer, the dad.
Okay.
You
can probably hear my daughters right there.
You have two beautiful children and a beautiful wife. So
Thank
let's
you.
talk about becoming the first time you became a dad.
Yeah.
A dad. So let's
2022, August 11th, my first little angel was born, Zara. Hey, Zara. Yeah, she was born, and it rocked my world, changed my life, melted my heart, all the things you hear a girl dad say, right? Yeah, it just, when you focus so much on yourself and your career and your own life, even with your partner, right? You focused on your relationship, etc., and then in comes this little human, and like everything shifts to that. It actually like did exactly what I thought it would do for me.
Okay.
It gave me this crazy, insane battery in my back to like
Parents say that a lot.
just go harder, and we were already going hard.
Okay.
But like now it was like has to work. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like, and then we weren't like doing bad, right? Like I had a really good job before this, and she has a good job. So it wasn't like we got to get out the hood,
Right.
but it goes even beyond like, like we got to just get it. It was more like, what if we were to leave here today? What does she have? And that, I think that's like the biggest change I saw in myself. It was just like, what is work? I'll get up at 4 in the morning. Or sometimes I work with people in Los Angeles. Sometimes I work with people on the East Coast time. I work with people in overseas. It's an international app.
Right.
We have people like contractors and employees across the globe. Right. We have some people in Nepal. We have some people in Portugal. We have some people in Chicago and Los Angeles. I don't care what time of day it is. We got investors that are in China and all type of different parts of the world. Right. If you want to get on the phone, let's get on the phone. And my brother, he's the same way, right? Like we're always working. And like before, I couldn't have told you that I had that like desire, or even like I was one of those people where it's like, hey, it's 5 o'clock. Holla at you in the morning, manager.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Don't, bing, what? It's 5:02. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to hit you back tomorrow morning.
Right.
But now it was just like, this is our business. Like this is our baby. We have investors to take care of. We have shareholders to take care of. We have advisors who put their time and energy into this. We have customers, clients. Like it kind of took this idea of like the company being your baby, just having an actual baby, and it was like I got to treat every part of my life like I'm trying to like provide for not just our client, but also for my child. So my first child, and then obviously my second baby girl, she was born 2 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah, she's fresh out.
you got her outside in this heat. It's hot outside.
Man, like, well, she be in the AC. It's cool in here too. So
It is cool in here.
but no, like it's again the same thing. It's just like I'm proud to say, like when she was born, we have come a lot longer along this journey of like getting towards not just generational wealth. Like I don't really think about it in that regard for me, like getting rich, because I honestly didn't start this company to get rich, quote unquote. I knew that there's a possibility, and we're still marching towards that, right? The more the company grows, the more that becomes a likelihood eventually, right? And obviously, like I would think my investors want me to talk like that, because if I make myself rich, then they got their money back 10x as well, right? Um, but it definitely like adds a little bit more fuel to the fire. It's like, now I got two people, so like,
Right.
what how much more can I leave for them? You know what I mean? So it's very easy to get up in the morning and just work and just get it done. Like I don't even think about it anymore. It's just like, what's next? I was working on my phone on the way over here. Like
I believe. I definitely believe it. Your brother's a dad too.
Mhm.
You both. How important is it for you both to be active dads with everything you got going on, the work, everything? How important is that to be active?
It's everything.
We get the backlash about the black man not in the household, and
Well,
I
it's
hate
easier
that
when you work
combo.
from home. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we get to work from home, and her school's 5 minutes up the road. So like, I could drop her off at school while on a meeting, and go
Right.
pick her up while on the meeting, right? And same thing with my brother. Like we take it very serious. He loves his son. And again, we're doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
His son was born 6 months before my daughter. You know what I mean? So they're best friends and cousins. They live across town from each other. So we're blessed to be able to like be active dads and be active parents while still running our companies. So it's and doing it at the same time. So we have the support. He can come drop his son off at my house. I could drop my daughter off with him if I need to go do something, or he needs to go out of town. We also split like responsibilities. So we go out of town for meetings. Sometimes we go together, and shout out to my wife, and shout out to his partner. They're able to hold it down when we're gone, but also when we're here, like if he needs to go take a bunch of meetings, and I'm over here working on PRDs. I don't need to talk to anybody. Drop your son off. I got him. We'll feed him. He can sleep here if he needs to. It's like vice versa, right? Drop him off. So having that support also makes it easy as well.
Takes a village, right?
It definitely takes a village. I mean, down to our friends, right? Like literally, like
Right.
my college friends that come watch our kids if we need to, right? They live in Atlanta. So that's another beauty of Atlanta. Like everybody's here, or a piece of everybody's here. So her godfathers are here, or both of their godfathers are here. The auntie village is endless. We got enough aunties all over the place. Like everybody's willing to help. So I mean, we're just like I truly just blessed to be able to have that, because I don't know how else we'd get it done without our village.
Yes. How is Ameer the husband?
What's that?
How is Ameer the husband?
Amir the husband. That's like, what's that? Learning, growing, happy. You know what I mean? Like I think you kind of ask yourself like, what's going to change like
Mm-hmm.
after you get married? And honestly, I can say like nothing's really changed besides my own like level of responsibility that I hold to myself versus like being with a girlfriend and then a fiance and then a wife. It's almost like when you add that title wife, like I got a wife, I'm a husband. Like it's another role to assume, and like you have to be present. You have to also make sure that, especially in a position like what we're in, you gotta make sure when you're building a business that you're not just focusing on yourself and you're just focusing on what you gotta get done. That you have a whole nother human being in your house that lives their own life, has her own aspirations, her own goals. Like she runs her own fitness brand. She works at a startup that's a Series C company. So they're even further along than us. Like with the company that she works at. So she's a lot of work and responsibility. She's an employee experience manager over there. So like yeah, I have to take that all into account. Like the world doesn't revolve around me, and although like what I'm doing, there's a massive upside for us when we get it right, which we are getting it right,
Right.
and she knows that, so she does take a lot of the burden off of me when it comes to childcare and just house maintenance and just things like that. But I also, when I see her doing it, I have to also be like, all right, you take a break because you're not a robot. Like
Right.
you gotta be a human. What's they saying, baby boy? Mama gotta have a life too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But like as a husband, you gotta recognize that, and I think that's where my learning journey is well underway, I'd say.
How was it having a partner by your side during everything, seeing you build it from the ground up and to seeing it flourish?
Man, like you can try to make me cry on this podcast.
We can cry. Ain't no shit
man,
around here. We can cry.
it's a blessing. Like I know I said that a lot of times, but it's just like I remember our first date. I picked her up and I was just talking, and I wasn't trying to flex at all.
Yeah.
I'm just a very like straightforward like talker. Like when I got something on my brain, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I mean? So she got in the car. I was like, yeah. She's like, I was like, what do you do? Oh, it's like, what do you do? Well, I work at Adobe. Woo, woo. But I'm working on this thing. You got an ear? She gave me. I was like, bet. So this is what we finna do. So Breakr, telling her about all this stuff, and
Right.
like obviously we're dreaming at the time because we just launched. Like we had just did our first couple campaigns with some influencers. Shout out to Ivy Rivera out of New York. She was the first creator on the platform to put
I've
up.
heard of Ivy Rivera. I've met her before.
Yeah.
Complex Con.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she was the first creator to put up a campaign and receive a payment from somebody. And I remember Timmy, Daniel, and Tony, we were all like in a group chat. We were like, man, I don't know if this thing's gonna work or not, but if one person puts their card down and pays somebody else on our platform, it's up. Like I remember saying that. And Ivy launched her campaign. She got like 25 people submit to her like $100 a pop, like, and she was able to do her thing, and she made money. And it was fun. Like she was having fun. She was promoting the music, and like she does her radio thing. She was a natural at it anyway. Like, and she went live and was just playing the songs, and like it was just cool to see. And from there on, she saw the whole thing. Like she, from me babbling in the car to her to that moment to everything that has come since then, term sheets and investments and patents, awards. We won a Shorty Award in 2022, a Shorty Impact Award for our Kit Kat campaign. Yeah, we did a campaign with Kit Kat where we went to about 6 cities, and we got a bunch of nonprofits and a cultural titan, an icon, and a up and coming artist to sit down and have a conversation. And the nonprofits like kind of facilitated it, and it was this like really cool campaign. We won a Shorty Impact Award, so she's seen that. Yeah, everything. To my first sit down podcast. She's even sitting right there. So honestly, like
shout out to Jay.
shout out to Jay, man. Shout out to Jay for real.
So how important is it? Before I get into like that final thought, last question I want to ask you: how important is it as a black man to be able to? I don't want to word it. Be able to show other black men that it is possible to be in a space with somebody, that you have a partner that's basically ride or die, and that this is a space that black men need to serve in, because we're not seeing, as I don't like to call them tabloids, as social media would say, no one's getting married, and it's a diabolical conversation around, well, it's not really nothing out here. Just expand on that a little bit, since you have found your person, and
Well, I'll tell you this, and then she will agree with this. It's not easy all the time. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, and just understanding that, I think, is just like one thing you have to keep in your mind. And I think a lot of times people are just looking for this fairy tale ideal version of what they expect and what they want, and if they're not getting it at all points in time, then they just kind of very quick to kind of shift or look away or whatever it may be. And also, like, yep, that person got to be your friend. Like, me and Jay laugh, like we have fun. Like, now again, we could argue, we could disagree, we could. I could be self-serving. She could be self-serving in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to like put our business out there, but like
Right.
there's in different ways. Like, you can go through your troubles, but at the same time, it's like, how do you find your way back to each other? Is through actually having a foundation that you guys both respect each other, you both care for each other, you both love each other, and you're loyal to each other, and in all senses, but most particularly in the sense of, if I gave you a promise and I told you I was going to do something for you and I was going to be there for you, I at least personally take that to heart.
I do too.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's no wood. I would knock on wood. In any relationship status that I have with Jade, she's good in my book forever. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I take her friendship, I take her loyalty, and I take her companionship to heart. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Absolutely.
when you show up for me, you do things for me, no matter what, I'm gonna always do that for you. And my friends can tell you that. My family can tell you that. Anybody that knows me knows that if I love you, I love you. And unless you just do something crazy to me,
Mm-hmm.
we can disagree. We can not see that eye, but if I love you, I love you, and I'm gonna hold it down regardless. So I think that people just gotta look for that. Like, maybe it's not a title, maybe it's not a wife, maybe it's not a husband. I don't know what. I'm not trying to push a certain dynamic on people, because there's all types of different ways people can be partners and companions and lovers and whatever it may be. So find what works for you, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta have some level of loyalty and um, accountability to that person, and they got to be your friend. That's almost the same way as like you got your childhood best friend,
Right.
and it's just like, hey, me and you to the end. You know what I'm saying? Ride or die. Let's get it.
Absolutely.
You got to have that same type of relationship with your partner, and if you do, I think it makes it a little bit easier to get through. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I do know what you mean. And lastly, final thoughts. I've heard you say everything. We went through everything from the start to the end. What would be your advice to any young creator, young entrepreneur that is maybe looking to get into this, don't know maybe where they're going, but they got an idea, they're writing it down on paper, whatever, manifesting it, whatever you want to get into? What is going to be your advice to those, and tell it to the people?
Man, I mean, I've probably answered this question 1,000 times since Adobe days, because they used to take me out to, like, once I was in the Adobe Digital Academy, I would go talk to students and all type of people, because they look at it like a success story. It's like, yo, how did you do this? And like, I used to be kind of shy about it, but like, I now understand like what it looks like and what it means, and like, that's why I don't mind sharing. Man, like, you gotta start. You got to start. You can't be afraid. Like, you cannot be afraid of what someone's going to say, what they're going to think, if it's going to work, if it's going to fail. What happens
Dang,
if
are you talking to me right now?
what happens if I start and then I stop, and like all of that, right? That's the barrier to entry. You got to like dust that off, and you got to be able to get out there and look crazy, right? Like, even like think about an athlete. Like, yeah, you can be good and you get to the pros, and it's like you might stink it up your first year or two. It's like, what you going to do? You got to keep going, you know what I mean? And you cannot be afraid to just put it out there. People by design, I think, are a little bit like trained to kind of like be the devil's advocate, or like to kind of like poke holes and tell you why something isn't gonna work, or
Absolutely.
how many people are doing it, or what's any different. There are many questions we get from investors, like, what makes you different from them?
Right.
Well, I'm not them, so that's the first difference.
That's right.
And guess what? If they had a perfect solution, or if they had the perfect thing out there, then why are you talking to me? Go give them your money. Go talk to them,
Right.
right? If clients as well, right? Like, if there was somebody that got it all perfectly right, then why are you sitting here talking to me?
Right.
So the fact that you're even here talking to me lets me know that there's still opportunity to improve on a space, on a product, on an industry, on anything, right? So I would tell people, like, find that niche, find that thing, I would look at an incumbent and just be like, what are they not doing?
Right.
and I'm gonna do that. Even if I only do that, then I'll reverse engineer into everything else they do. Now we peers. Now you gotta see me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's what I would tell anybody trying to start up anything, a podcast, a company, a product. You know, and honestly, I love consumer products the most when you talk about that, because it's like really what makes it any different. The whole bread aisle concept.
Yep.
What makes it any different? Nothing. We can make the same exact bread. I'm just gonna make my packaging look cooler than you, and I'm gonna outmarket you, and I'm gonna sell it to more people than you.
Right.
Or I'm gonna get creative in my marketing and make it funny. So now you want to buy my bread because my bread is funny, and your bread is bread.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
so I mean, like, find your competitive edge, find your niche, and find that. Or if you can, find that like that real silver lining, that slither where you are very uniquely different, and attack it aggressively, and don't let nobody tell you not to, because you're not doing it. So don't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me what I can and can't do. I take that to heart, honestly. People try to tell me what I can't do. I'm like, bad.
Watch it.
Because you don't know what I've done already. You see me as, like, a founder and an engineer and, like, product owner, whatever you may think. You think, oh, this person was built to be that. You don't know that I went to school for PR. You don't know that I went transferred from a school to another school. You don't know that I played basketball. You don't know nothing about my journey. So, like, you really don't understand that I was not supposed to be here, and I am here. So what I would tell somebody that sees me sitting here, I say, I wasn't supposed to be here, and if you think you're not supposed to be here, you can be here. You know what I'm saying? And, like, the only difference between me sitting right here and talking to you and doing what we're doing is starting, not stopping, and when I hit roadblocks, I pivot, and when I don't know something, I learn. I'm not afraid to what we call sit on the floor. Basically like a mentee to a mentor. Like, I'm not afraid to sit on the floor. I will sit on the floor with somebody younger than me if you knew something. I'm like, what? Tell me more. Tell me more, bro. Tell me more, little big bro. Like, if you got some knowledge that I need, I'm learning it. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna take it serious. I'm gonna learn it and I'm gonna apply it and I'm gonna keep moving. Right. So that's why I love having conversations with all types of different people. The Gen Z and, like, the youngins, the millennials, the boomers. I talk to everybody the same way, because I'm like, tell me what I need to know so I can get past this particular part of my journey and keep moving. And I like giving it back too. So that's why I have no problem coming to talk to people. I have no problem answering questions. I probably overextend myself a little bit too much, and I'm one of them people that
As a people as we do.
I'm one of them people that I reply to everybody who ever DM me. On my birthday too, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes my conversation with people is just thank you, but it's like, I'm not gonna not let you know that I am thankful, right? I'm gonna always make time for anybody that makes time for me. So, and also I'm gonna make time for myself.
Period. And that's You're in the Right Place podcast with Breakr, one of the founders, Ameer Brown. So I'm so happy that you sat with me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
This is
so
awesome.
much.
I appreciate you for having me.
It's just a little something or whatever. But drop your Instagram, drop the company's IG, let them know where to follow.
So you can follow the company at Music Breakr, and that's Breakr spelled Breakr on the end. We actually just got the handle Breakr. This girl who had it, her name was Bria KR. Her name was Bria, and, like, her initials were KR, and she would not give us the page. Yeah, she would not give us the page for years, and then recently we had to get the page from her. Well, we had to buy it from her.
Of course.
And shout out to Bria. Thank you for selling us the page. But yeah, then my personal is Nino Breeze, NINOBREEZ. And it's funny about that. I made it in college because I was just like, I had to get a handle, this new thing called handles.
Yes.
And I was listening to Frank Ocean at the time, like I forget what album it was, but I thought the name Frank Ocean was cool. So I was like, Nino Breeze, like an element, like ocean element. I just thought it was cool. So yeah, you can catch me on Instagram, NINOBREEZ. But my name is Ameer. Call me Ameer, please.
Y'all heard that. And of course, I'm your host, Ebony Kiera. You can follow me at Ebony Kiera. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, darling. You're in the right place. Pod, YIT. Why do I always mess this up? YITRP Pod. Okay? And then I'm at Ebony Kiera on all platforms.
Soon to be the biggest podcast in the world.
You heard it. I ain't say it. You heard it from him. And I'm just saying, thank you. Bye, guys.
How you guys doing? It's Ameer Brown, co-founder and co-CEO of Breakr. and you're watching You're in the Right Place pod.
Yeah.
Make sure you stay tuned in and subscribe.